see. Who moved my cheese? I love this book. It's so simply written, and yet it packs such powerful messages. And when I was thinking about, look what I got, it was mostly because we all get truly, truly happy when we've accomplished something or when we have something to show for the efforts that we've made in life. And when that happens, it's almost like, look at me, or look what I got. Or there's this excitement, this genuine excitement about, look what has been made manifest that I get to enjoy. And if I can, in fact, be happy when someone says, hey, look what I got, or look what's happened for me, or hey, take a look at what's happening in my life and how great it is, when I can truly come from a place of, wow, that is amazing, that is great, that is powerful, good for you, I'm actually generating that kind of same positive, joy-filled, powerful, energetic for that which is what makes me happy. In the book, Who Moved My Cheese, there's these 4 characters. And for some, how many of you have read it before or seen it before? All right, great. And for those who haven't, don't worry, because I'm going to tell you about it today. And it's going to make some perfect sense. And we get to be with the book for the month because it has so many gems in it. So there's 4 characters in the story. And there are 2 mice. And don't be afraid. I didn't bring any with me today. Oh, no, I'm kidding. One is Sniff and one is Scurry. And then there's these 2 little people. They're the size of mice. And they act a lot like these mice. And they are Hem and Haw. And pretty much the story takes place in a maze. And everything has this metaphysical meaning to it. So you've got these 4 characters. And actually these 4 characters are really characteristics that we have inside. So it's kind of pretty cool because I can see part of Sniff and Scurry and part of Hem and Haw within me. And maybe, just maybe, you'll notice them inside of you too. Who knows? Maybe you'll notice more of one and not the other. However, the deal is that these 4 cast of characters, they wake up early in the morning. They have their ritual. They put on their jogging suits, which kind of went out in the 70s a little bit, right? In the 80s, right? You know, those old jogging suits. They put on their sneakers, a.k.a. in California, we call them tennies. Right? And they get ready and they go out, they leave their homes, and every day they go into the maze, and the maze is simply the place in which they go to search out for that which is going to make them happy. That which is going to make them happy is cheese. And cheese is just symbolic for that which makes you happy. So think about it. Every morning or every day for lots of us, maybe those of us who are not self-employed, underemployed, unemployed, or retired, every day, for the most part, most people wake up, they have their routine, and they go out into the world to fetch or to get that which they think is going to bring them happiness, the cheese. You know, and for the mice, the cheese is just nourishment. Hey, they just like cheese. They just want to eat. They just want to be happy. They just want to be nourished. But for the little people, the cheese symbolizes a good home, or being the big cheese. You know, being the one in charge, having that house on the hill, having that mansion, having the good cars, having all that stuff that we want. That's what it symbolizes. And so every day, these 4 get ready. They go through their ritual, and they go out into the maze. They go out into the world looking for their cheese. Now, the ones with the simple brains, of course, the mice, they have this, they kind of smell, sniffs around, and Scurry hurries. And pretty much they have this way of going about life. It's kind of trial and error. They try this way. If it's not this way, they try this way until they find Station C. And in Station C, they find a gold mine. they have found loads and loads of cheese, and they're happy. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the little people, the ones with the emotions and the brains, the intelligent ones, they're allowing their intentions, their emotions, their beliefs, they're allowing all of that stuff to kind of get in the way. They're allowing themselves to be driven by it instead of being driven by their instincts, by their intuition, by simply knowing and being in tune with themselves and kind of knowing where to go. And of course, they're going to hit dead end after dead end after dead end, but finally they too get to Station C, kind of to see where Scurry and Sniff have been hanging out. Now, in the story, Sniff and Scurry, they're kind of taking inventory, if you will. They're kind of looking at their day. They're kind of looking at the cheese. They're kind of hanging out there. They don't take it for granted. They're, in a sense, counting their blessings. In a sense, they're looking at what's been given, what's available to them, what they're eating, and they're doing their thing, and just really being cognizant and present. Meanwhile, the other side of Station C, Hem and Haw, they hit the gold mine. They don't ever have to work another day again. This is always going to be here. As a matter of fact, they lounge around and they just kind of take it easy. And day after day, Sniff and Scurry, they take the same route to get to Station C where the cheese is all the time. But every day, Hem and Haw, they wake up late. Matter of fact, they don't even put on their sneakers or their tennies anymore. They just kind of mosey on down because they know it's going to be there. And they're not noticing that little by little, the cheese is going away. And then one day, they show up, and the cheese is gone. So, of course, the title of the book, Hem says, "Who moved my cheese? What's up? Where's my cheese? What's up? Where's my things? Like, who moved it? I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Something's wrong here. I just want things to be the way they were. What's going on? Who moved my cheese? What's up?" And he's getting angry and frustrated. But we take a flash look at Sniff and Scurry. They've been paying attention. They kind of already knew it was going to be gone. And when they showed up and saw that it was gone, they adapted to the situation. And they went back into the maze, looking, sniffing, and searching out for new places for cheese. Hem and Haw are still kind of there, hemming and hawing, kind of kicking the walls and trying to figure out what's up. And they're kind of questioning, well, actually Haw's questioning, hey, where's Sniff and Scurry? And Hem is like, hey, don't even worry about them. They're simple-brained little mice. We're the intelligent ones. We're entitled to the cheese, so where's our cheese? And I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But Haw is kind of thinking, well, maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe they are a little more advanced than we are with their simple brains. So let's break this down. Who do you identify with the most? Are you Sniff or Scurry? Are you Hem and Haw? What are the things that represent the cheese for you? What is it that represents security or love? Or what meanings have you given to things in your life that maybe are no longer there and you're stuck in a rut trying to figure out how did it get taken away and why it's not fair? How easy or difficult is it for you to adjust to change? How is it that you relate to change? Is it something that you welcome? Is it something that you try not to deal with or not to even address? Or if we just kind of leave things as they are, don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat. Leave everything the way it is. Shh, don't say nothing, because if you say something, it's going to change everything. Who are you in these situations? And where is it that you're lying to yourself or telling yourself that things are really the same. Because truly, when we look at life and when we look at each and every day is totally different. Each moment is different from the previous moment and will be different from the last moment and from the moment that is to come. Change is always happening. But somehow or another, we have these attitudes and beliefs about change because we've been conditioned to have these attitudes and beliefs about change that make us so inflexible to that which is for our good. You know, in the book, they write a couple of signs on the wall, like cheese makes me happy. Cheese makes me happy. If it were your sign, what would you write? What would it be that makes you happy? What is it that brings you joy? What is it that just simply makes your socks roll up and down? You know, for some it's family. For others, it's, the friends. For others, it's just hanging out at the beach surfing or being involved in some kind of project or being creative, writing a song. For others, it might be being on a thrill ride or on a roller coaster. And for others, it just might be the embrace of another human being. But what happens when that scenario changes and that situation changes? Don't you think that it is changing for your higher good? Or do you automatically think that something is happening to you and this is not fair? Who moved my cheese? And being upset about it. Because how you look at it and your perspective on it will determine how you live. It will determine your spiritual maturity. It determines what happens next and what continues to happen after that point. Unless there's a shift, unless there's a change, unless there is something that happens because of what you're doing to help you make that shift. See, as we begin to have a daily spiritual practice, what we get to really come into acceptance of more and more and more is that change is the nature of life. And when we stop thinking that change is bad and stop labeling it as bad and giving it the judgment that it is bad or wrong, we can really begin to embrace the change. We can really begin to just be okay with the change. We can really begin to thrive with the change and really go with the flow. But it's when we resist that change, when we're being dragged, because change is dragging, you coming with me anyway, daggone it, and you can see the skid marks of the resistance. It's then that, it's no fun. Who wants to live life being dragged through the mud because change is constantly happening? It's not necessarily where we want to live from as spiritual people. Words don't have meaning. The cheese doesn't really have a meaning. We give it meaning. We give it meaning, and sometimes we put so much meaning on something that is not even worth the meaning that we gave it. Sometimes we overvalue a particular thing. I know for me, I'll tell you this, is that I know that when I've had the most challenging time with change, or when I've come to a situation where I go, who moved my cheese? What's up? What's going on? How come this is happening to me? Why are you doing this to me? What did I do? I must have did something wrong. Maybe it was one of my past lives. Maybe it's this life. Who knows? But I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm going to find out why, and I'm going to fix it. I know that if I'm ever in that frame of mind and in that consciousness like hem, H-E-M, like the hem on your garment, it's all sewn up. It's the hem. It's like there. It's like I'm not going anywhere. When I have that thought of like, I'm here and forget it and I'm going to find out and get to the bottom of this, I am in a position of victimhood, and I am in a position that I'm ready to blame you. And you and you and you and anybody else who might come into my frame of vision. I am not in resolution mode. I'm not even in the mood for a resolution because I want to be justified in that anger, in that frustration. I want to know because I want to get to whoever it. Whoa, that's a lot of energy. Chill out, sunshine. I don't know if any of you have ever identified being in that place. Maybe so stubborn that it's like, no, she's going to do the right thing, or no, he's got to do it my way. Or maybe when your kids are not necessarily being as obedient as you want them to be, or a coworker is not cooperating as much. You just want to make it happen. And it's like, whoa. I just was spinning my wheels. Being captured by fear, being captured by doubt, not remembering who I am, not remembering the I am that is living in, through, and as me, not being in total acceptance of the present moment that, hey, there's no cheese here. Move on. Keep it moving. Begin to find a solution. Don't try to fix it. As a matter of fact, day in and day out, Scurry and Sniff were out looking for new cheese in a new place in the maze, but Hem and Haw kept coming back to the same old place, finding no cheese every day. They didn't even bring their tennis shoes. They came back to the same place. It's still empty. And you know the definition for insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. I mean, really, they came back day after day after day, thinking and believing that somehow the cheese was going to appear. Or that just by wishing and sitting around going, oh, I sure wish things were like they were in the old days. You know how we do that. The old days, the good old days. Thinking that maybe if we can just be superstitious about something, that cheese is going to appear. No. How stuck are you? If you are stuck, what is necessary to move you? What is necessary to shoo you along the way, to snap you out of some old, antiquated thinking and ideas about coming to the same place and the well is dry, coming to the same place and not finding happiness? We need to make a decision. We need to learn how to respond instead of react. And the difference between responding instead of reacting is this. When we react, it means that we act again. There's no thinking in that. And remember, the little people are the intelligent ones. But they weren't really thinking. At least one of them wasn't for quite some time. Responding means that we take a moment to assess the situation. There's no cheese here. As a matter of fact, okay, I'll come back tomorrow. Day 2, there's no cheese here. It's gone. It doesn't matter who took it, whether it was stolen, whether it was taken away from you forcibly, whether, all the mice ate it, other people came and took it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is it's not there. So if it's not there and cheese is important to me, then what do I get to do? And I get to do what I did when I found this cheese. I get to do what I did when I found this cheese. I get to be diligent about my morning rituals, about my morning habits, about getting back in there into the maze and beginning to look and beginning to really see and wander around and feel alive by my thriving nature to find that which makes me happy, to find that which nourishes me, to find and to be with others that are enjoying the cheese. It makes no sense whatsoever to sit in that empty maze, hoping and wishing, trying to tear down the walls, see if the walls are made of cheese, to see if it will manifest there. You know, in our Science of Mind philosophy, we say treat, which means pray. It's our form of prayer. It's called treatment. Treat and move your feet. Treat and move your feet. Pray on it and get into action. Get into the action. Get into your day. Get into, and remember, see, and that's what happened for them. They stopped doing what they were doing in order to get what they got. And that's what happens for lots of us. Wow, we come to Science of Mind community, we get in New Thought communities, we begin to learn that we're no longer victims, that we're actually the captains of our ships, and we start having these positive thoughts and ideas, and we start knowing the truth of who we are, and we go, yeah, you know what? There's power in my word. Watch, the perfect parking spot is now mine. And you get there, and sure enough, I call it Doris Day parking. I'm dating myself, but you remember the old movies with Doris Day? She would just pull right up, and there'd be a parking spot right there. She'd get out. Doris had it going on. Right? And that's what happens for us. We begin to know how to use Science of Mind principles and how to pray, and we begin to, through the power of our thoughts and our beliefs and anchoring in these beliefs and this knowingness, we begin to live from this place where we get the parking spot, the palaces, the prince or the princess, whichever you prefer. And we think, yeah, this is it. I got it made now. My life is good. I don't need to meditate as much. I don't need to meditate. No, I don't need to pray as much now. I got this. This is going to last forever. Just like the little people, when they got to all that cheese, it's going to last forever. And we forget the very thing that it took to prepare us, to prepare our consciousness, to prepare our minds, to prepare our bodies, our spirits, our souls, to be able to receive and to be in the abundance of the cheese. And so it is that as we continue the book and the other chapters, that we'll begin to see and recognize even more of ourselves in there. Because the key is we have to be consistent. You got to keep doing what you're doing to keep getting what you're getting. And as a matter of fact, if you don't like what you're getting, the empty place, then you got to do something different. You got to do something different. And the different is go back to the beginning. Go back to putting on the jogging suit, meaning putting on that suit, being in that consciousness of knowing that right where I am, God is. Right where I am, love is. Right where I am, peace is. Right where I am, abundance is. We have to wear it. And the only way we can wear it is by being it. By being it, meaning we have to engage in our daily spiritual practices. We got to know beyond a shadow of a doubt who we are, so that this way, even as we go through the maze, and we may not have the cheese, we still know who we are, with or without the cheese. We still can live and be in our fullness and our wholeness, knowing that we're about to experience something beyond our wildest dreams because we're so anchored in the truth of who we are. So, who are you? What does your cheese represent? And how is it that you want to proceed this week as you look at your rituals, the things that you do, your habits, as you go out into the world, as you go into your daily activities to achieve that which brings you happiness? So let's take that into meditation as we simply begin to ask in our meditation that it be revealed to us the things that we no longer need, things that we no longer need to let happen. As we go into our time of silence, we want to know what it is that we need to just let go of. The things that don't work. Things that kind of keep us coming back to this place of emptiness. And we want to know in the silence as it comes up. We want to know and we want to ask our higher self, our innermost self, to reveal to us in a language in which we understand that which is necessary on a daily basis, that we might continue to anchor in this truth of who we are, that we might don the jogging suit of love, joy, peace, abundance, prosperity, wholeness, health, oneness, power, freedom. Freedom. And we just want to listen. We want to listen. And we want to know. So we become still.